who's going to splat the bug or who's going to be taking down the cat.
We got a trinket that Looper forgot to buy, so he had to jump back real quickly and grab it. He's probably also a little bit shocked. He sees Galio. He goes, "What is this? What is life?"
What is life?
I am still really shocked by this Galio pick. Yes, it's something practicing, but is this just a hint of absurd desperation, or is this an ace in the hole for Samsung Blue? Varus didn't necessarily work. This is a whole other beast.
Yeah, and so Galio can start a fight if he has flash ready. The problem is, if the flash is gone, how is Samsung Blue ever going to start the fight against a Jace and a Corki who's just going to completely destroy you in the mid-game with poke? We will have a 1 fight, though.
White thinks getting in and making an impact is how it happens. They're able to get out of this one. The heal! That's the Dade hitting the rise going early. That's going to be quick to a tier for him in the lane. And this is going to be a great start for Blue.
So that was a very uncharacteristic move by Samsung White, invading there blind with that much ward setup. But it's honestly something they've been doing more and more of throughout Worlds. When we were watching all the replays, we're thinking, this is very unlike White. They're making these strange risks. And we thought maybe they'd end up doing that against Blue because they were trying to catch them a little off guard. I don't think they needed to, but it's a style they've been adapting, and it costs them there.
Level 1 tier, and you only have to use 1 flash and a ghost to actually get on the side of Samsung Blue. If we're looking at defensive summoners they might need in the lane.
Oh man.
They can be very, very happy now at this start. I mean,
they're already...
That is insane for Dade in mid lane.
They're already a mid-game team. I'm still not sure how Galio fits into this mid-game.
We're going to have to wait and see what they can do.
But the other 4 make a whole lot of sense, and they're doing great so far here.
With that Gus, he definitely can make it around the map quite fast. We'll see if the teleport and the roams come in from him. He'll be helping Spirit and Jungle, as we see both junglers milling about with each other right now, or with their top laners, I should say. Coming into this one, 2 exhausts on the side of White, which may help if Blue gets overpowered, because they're not bringing any exhaust to the table. They're ready to go all in and keep that fight.
That will be dangerous if Dandy gets going.
Yeah.
But I do need to talk a little bit more about Galio.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since we've gotten to talk about Galio. One thing that he will bring into the lane swap situation is a huge amount of ranged wave clear. Since they're going to be lacking it a little bit with Rise, Galio is really, really hard to siege and dive. Obviously, because they're low on sustain, if they get hit by the siege, they hurt. But as far as actually diving, he is one of the best anti-dive tools ever. I remember before even the Season 1 World Championship, WCG 2010,
Man,
Galio brought a summoner spell that no longer exists in Fortify, and they could not end the game. You could not finish or siege against the Galio. Maybe that has something to do with Blue's late game here, bringing that type of siege from the top lane.
A shock blast here would hurt so badly. There it is, actually hits Acorn as well. Are they going to be able to get in? Dade's big.
This is real danger.
Dade is big.
That's a kill. That was not good.
The quick hit over. Acorn goes down. Dragon goes to Pawn. Pawn gets another one. What in the world is happening right now?
They can turn it around.
Clean it up. Dandy, they need to get out. One more hit to Heart. Heart's going to be up for a little bit. There's the twisted advance. Arcane smash. And it's going to come through for the kill. They will pick up. No. Looper. It's the auto attack coming in from Dade as we waste the flash in mid lane. And we have Carnage to start off game 2.
As bad as that was for Blue, losing the Dragon to Jace, which was a total disaster, what happened afterwards is
one more time.
They have double buffs after all that ends up happening. Really poor Dragon aggro swapping. Spirit didn't want to get low because he knew he had to smite, and no one else was in there to take the Dragon for him. They also didn't want to group for Shock Blast. Pawn with some really aggressive play, fantastic job picking up the double kills. But then the fight afterwards from White was a little bit ill-advised. Take what is given to you and don't try a little bit too hard. Def gets the double buffs, Dade gets the double buffs, they both have them. They got 3 kills on the Rise despite the Dragon going down, and they still have an early game edge.
What amazing play to start this one off. Blue definitely wanted to get their hands dirty right off the bat, and they found it. White trying to come in. We have a 400 gold lead. That's about it as the lanes match up. Support's helping out the top laners, as it usually is in one of these little bit of swaps in early game Dragons. Clears the ward for Dandy. He gets that Dragon Death Brush out, and it looks like they're trying to set up a little bit of their own killer play here.
And because Samsung White had all the members on the bottom side here fighting the Dragon, and Acorn went down so early, once he came back to life, top lane was being pushed in actually by Imp, so you could teleport up there. Notice how much farm he's already picked up just by getting there in the one-on-one lane. Even has Heart now to help him. If you want to go and contest the dragon in the lane swap, you have to freeze the top lane. You cannot fast push it in, because then it opens up for the enemy top laner to go up there and just pick up all the farm and get extremely far ahead. So Imp should have been freezing the lane if they want to fight for dragon.
Yeah, and let me tell you, Acorn's farm's not going to slow down here. Galio is really, really good at farming. We used to see him a little bit in the mid lane as well.
Yeah.
300 CS was usually hit pretty early on in the game. And as a top laner here, who has been hot and cold as far as his ability to pick up farm, as far as Acorn is concerned, is going to be hot this game on Galio.
Dade, already with that catalyst. It's going to be almost impossible to push him out of lane with the regen he's going to be getting. With all that action, we do see good wards placed in by White. 2 deep pink wards, at least 1 deep pink ward and a regular sight ward here to try and stop anything else Spirit can bring to the table. Right now he's down 10 CS. Dandy's trying to stay in the jungle, get himself going so he can start to impact the lanes.
And this is going to be such a scary mid-game now for Samsung Blue, because Ryze is going to get a very early Rod of Ages.
Yeah.
He even had the tier from level 1. Stack it really early. It's going to be stacked faster than we normally see. You have the Lucian and the Galio as well to set up the fights here. The mid-game of Samsung Blue is going to be extremely scary if they can start the fight.
Exactly
which is
what
still
they
going to be
wanted.
the problem. They have to get in with the Galio to start the fight itself.
Right.
And speaking of starting fights, something that Dandy has done in almost all of his games when he gets a kill early is he'll rush boots of mobility. However, this game he's 0-2-1 and still rush those boosts of mobility. So I feel like he's trying a little bit extra hard to go around the map and create pressure. And if that fails, he's going to be falling really far behind.
Yeah, and it's what we see on Rengar for pretty much every single player now. You get early Mobi boots, you get your level 6, and now you can start setting up the ganks here, where people can react in time, because again, you have the mobility boots. You will just go in and clear the Wraith Camp here, because he has already actually a deep pink ward.
Is that going to get spotted by Kha'Zix?
Spotting the Spirit. He did ting on it. He got it.
Really good. Usually that ward, or sometimes that ward, can last almost the entire game, and I've seen it shut down so many junglers until 15-20 minutes into the game. Spirit checking that brush was really clutch. If you're a jungler out there and you're in your own jungle, just because it's a second or two, always check that brush, because if pink ward's there, it ruins your ganks.
It's always good. Good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Always consider your scene, right?
If you are
look around.
any player, when you walk in the bush, look at your character, because there's a pink ward. We see too many times, even in professional games, that people just keep walking around it.
Not this time for Spirit. We'll see if he can keep things going. Pretty close to level 6 himself.
Man. Check the bush.
Yeah, well, check out this Galio, though. Yeah, I didn't do much.
A lot of focus on the bottom lane from Blue. That's the ultimate on Dandy. He's going to jump in. He does not know. Galio is there, but there's also no ultimate to come in from him. Spot on moves coming in from White here to start to shut down a bit of that lead. They get a 600 gold lead out of that one. Heart's going to be a little lackluster on getting back out here, and we'll see what kind of pressure White can put down.
And there was a ward by Samsung Blue in the bush here to try and spot Dandy, but because of mobility boots, because he can pop the ulti so early and still catch up, he could just go in there, surprise Samsung Blue, get a very, very needed kill. Especially Imp here. He needs to catch up, because there's already a BF Sword on Death because of the kill and the assist he got before.
Depending on what Dade can do, 3-0-1 here. Maybe go back and buy some more damage or get that charged up on the tier a little bit more. Dragon in 40. That's going to be a big impact. But Pawn still can provide poke for this. It's something that crushed down Blue last game, and he still has that chase.
And so much of this will be on Dade if he can somehow close the gap towards Pawn. If he can't get into engagement range of Jace, it's just going to be a horrible time for the Samsung Blue team. No sustain with the Janna right here. And honestly, this Dragon in 20 seconds, there has yet to be a gank to preempt it. And Acorn and Looper are both in the top lane without a teleport. I really wonder if we're going to be able to see some type of early pressure. No Rengar ultimate. Spirit evolved his W. The next Dragon will also probably decide a lot of this game.
So look here what Dade decided to do. Because the next Dragon is coming up, he didn't go back to finish his Rod of Ages. Instead, instant Magic Pen boots for the
immediate power.
He needed the power right now for this potential Dragon fight. Samsung Blue wants to win it, get the goal lead here, and that's why he gets the boots so early, and not a Rod of Ages like we normally see on Ryze Fest, because they want to get it stacking as fast as possible.
Well, you saw in the old days of war, shutting down the general is what won you the fight, and this time they have not shut down the general. They're going to go ahead and set up around this Dragon. It looks like they're going to bait this one in as well. Pawn's going to clear out mid lane, and he'll be there.
All right, so Blue has vastly superior vision control. 3 pink wards in the river. if they have any type of catch potential. There's no flash on Galio. Dade does have both of his summoners. Dade would almost need to start this fight. It is so dangerous grouping around Dragon against the Jace poke. White is actually the team that has the potential to start the fight, but they don't have the vision to start the fight. It's a really strange situation we have here. Blue starts it to dare White to come in.
Slow play. They're kind of feeding into this
They're just
one.
trying to poke him down.
Looking for a dark binding that'll lock down the right target from both sides. The pincer comes in. It will not be stolen. That goes to Spirit, but it might be his life for the Dragon. We see Mata going down first. Then Dandy falls. It's going to be Acorn, but they have damage right now. No! It is going to be Dade going down. White is going to start stomping through this fight. What a catch! What a blast! What a finish coming in. Spirit makes it out alive after the smite, but he's just about the only one.
So Samson White here decides to split up actually. We had Corky down on the bottom side.
It's not over.
And with Pincer, Spirits, you're dead, my friend.
Uh-oh.
Gets a kill though. No, yes, he got.
All right.
Minions OP.
That fight was just Blue succumbing to the poke of Samsung White. The Corky Jace just getting enough damage down there. Blue bailed out a little preemptively and just was that close to being able to close out the fight, but they took too much poke.
See it again.
Yeah, so notice how Corky's down the bottom side here, landing the poke. Danny wants to engage as well. And what Samsung Blue is doing now is one of the most risky things you can do. Your jungler 100% focused on Dragon to try and get it, which means he's actually out of the fight. He doesn't do anything in the fight, and it's 4v5 in that case. And now Samsung White, because they landed the poke, managed to just clean it up from now. And notice this catch here. Looper flashing on, and then Shock Blast.
What synergy right there. Deft just couldn't escape. They're still getting some really nice farm onto Ryze and Lucian, which could be a nice mid-game power spike, but oh my god, Pawn.
It's not like Samson White, yeah, exactly. And Samson White's mid-game power spike with the poke they do have is just as good, if not even better, because they have so much poke on Jace and Corky, and because the Galio is going to have such a hard time engaging. You mentioned the wave clear earlier. The problem is, the Galio might be stuck in the side lane because he's the guy with teleport, and he won't be there to wave clear the mid lane.
And the huge factor coming into these fights, they go long. Those two exhausts are on the exact same timer from Pawn and Mata, shutting down the damage that Dade did bring to the table. So they got to be careful, and they got to hit the shots right to start from the side of Blue. Now trying to give the bottom turret a little breathing room. That's the calling out of Death. We'll see how they reset this. They have good wards to stay safe here, but there's more wards from White to make more plays.
Yeah, this game has actually been a really big improvement by Blue by and large. They got the early game kills. They only had 3 kills in that entirety of the last game. And honestly, as far as their matchup against White, even though both teams have some mid-game power spikes, the fact that they're 13 minutes in, approaching 20, while not getting blown out, is really good for them. White has not been stretched in games that at all in Worlds, honestly. If it gets to 35 minutes and it's a really close game, we don't know how White's going to react. We've only seen games where White has a medium lead going into late game, and they look a little bit shaky just because they're so used to steamrolling teams. It's hard to pull back on the gas pedal a little bit when you're so used to going all out and always having it work. So Blue is actually in a pretty good place right now.
And a lot of it, in terms of like Samson White and their late game shot calling, when they were called Ozone and they had Dade on the team, they were actually really good in terms of the late game as well with the shot calling they had. But now Dade is on Blue, and suddenly they're the ones who plays the late game really well.
Did he steal it? No.
Oh, Dade got it here. Dade is both playing as a complete guard in the mid lane, and he's also doing most of the shot calling for his team, which is just insane that he's able to do it.
So much focus required for that position, as like you said, also 2 shot call. It helps when you're 4-1-1. The Rod of Aegis yet to be finished here.
That's a trap.
That's a big hit for him. Oh, he could take. Wait a minute. Okay, I was gonna say, where are you going? You need to help your AD carry, but it's Looper was teleporting down to make even bigger plays. Bulwark onto Spirit. Keep him healthy a little bit, or at least keep Acorn healthy. Dade trying to make a play here, walking straight through wards, almost hatching these ones as he goes over it. Will it be the attack? He's going to get locked out. Oh, what blast! Pawn spot on as he's threading these needles. And it's only going to be harder as they're getting the focus kills they need onto Blue.
Dandy and Pawn are so good together, knowing exactly the range with which Jace can follow up. And Spirit runs into a big cat.
It's going to... I feel like if he hit that or heard that hit, he might be going a little hard, but his flash was down, so he stays safe. Minute and 30 on to Dragon. This is what happened with White before. They started getting into Blue's jungle. They were not able to come back from the side of Blue. Seeing that pink ward, looks like Pawn's going to get his hands on it, take it down as well. It's hard for Blue to even defend the wards they're throwing down.
Just such a nice setup as well by Samson White, knowing that Dade had roamed down to this bottom lane. That's why they didn't chase the kills, and also knowing he's going to return to the mid lane. And Danny was just sitting ready, popped the ulti, got onto him, shock blast as well, and Danny could just finish the job here. So just a very nice setup as a team all around, not even over chasing in the bottom lane.
And White is farming up some incredibly large players here. Looper is going to be a huge problem on Maokai, specifically come the next Dragon fight. It doesn't look like Blue has enough damage to deal with Looper at all. They've lost the top turret. They need to get vision control around Dragon again. Somehow Blue would have to control Dragon with wards and avoid the poke if they want to avoid falling farther and farther behind. But it's going to be so difficult knowing that Dandy can strike from anywhere and knowing that the Pawn poke is so great.
And Blue buff right now helping to charge up that man. Oh, one more shot from him. Spirit in a bad spot right now, but they see Depth coming in. Culling comes out. The exhaust on Spirit coming back into the fight. Keeps him out. Keeps the rest of the team kind of wondering. Chaos out of the lanes. White has more time to run free.
Once again, Dandy looking for Dade.
Oh, that's still damage that Dade has. Dandy not really sure what was going to happen there, but he definitely took about 75% of his HP.
Dade there is a total lifesaver as far as Dragon is concerned. Getting Dandy that low will just absorb a lot of the pressure that the rest of the team was giving there.
Cool little setup though. Dandy running in, he throws his E at the Wolf Camp to get the 5 stacks for the next one to be the snare. And there's even 2 ping wards too, so he didn't know where Dade exactly was, he just knew he was nearby. Ended up actually face checking him and taking a lot of damage. Falls back to base. He will have ulti for next fight.
Give Dandy Rengar and he will find a way into your jungle without you knowing, especially when White has the lead and they can start putting these wards down. Already see a bit of a movement down towards the bottom side. A nice binding. Soul Shackles. That was a nice hit. Monsoon's not going to do enough. That'll be a last few shots. Can he hit it? It's going to be a bit. Oh, he doesn't even want to try. Wants to solidify it with Flash. Kill secured.
Because Samson White knows they can now go Dragon, 5 members. Imp didn't want to try and hit the rockets here. Just use the Flash, get your kill.
Still have Valkyrie.
Exactly, and go straight onto this Dragon here. For Samson Blue has to fight 4
Acorn
members.
is not even level 11. The control from White is just too great right now. They are starting to do the same thing to Blue that they did in Game 1. They are catching them in so many positions. They are controlling the vision of the map, and they're just winning a lot of the skirmishes because they start the fights and they end the fights properly.
Winning a lot, now 2 and 3 on those Dragons, and that one was pretty uncontested as they went into it, which is not spelling good things for Blue. They definitely have to wait this one out. Mid-game power spikes may not be used the way they want them, and that hit 2 members. That's maxing over just about 1,000 damage you just hit across 2 members. Pawn did the most damage last game. He's about to do it again.
Yep.
Oh!
Spirit.
Your jungle is not your jungle, says Samsung White. They're going to try to take it back here. They said you got to pay rent if you're going to stay. Idol of Duran goes down. They are not able to get too much off of that, but they do get a kill over to Dade. Still the fight continues. Pawn comes in with the jump. That just looks like he is going to chew everything up. One more hit. The double kill for Pawn as he gets a kill on Dade and Acorn, and he just gets bigger and bigger. 7-2-4.
And this has been the story of the series here for Samsung Blue. They are a little bit out of sync. They find the fights a little bit late, and then White is punishing them again and again. This time, Dandy's Rengar does not have mercy at this point. He will continue to invade Spirit. He shuts them down. Acorn ulted the air, which really hurt them for the follow-up fight, and Pawn punished.
Kind of useless after all has been used already for him. And this Jace pick, they cannot afford to give Samson White Jace again. He's too good in these early mid-games fights we see. The poke he can do as well, the setup you can do with the Rengar where you snare a target and land a shock blast. Every single time we have a fight, and Jace is part of it, it just goes so heavily in favor of Samson White. This obviously is the Spirit going down very early because Samson White is controlling the jungle, knowing they want to come in and contest it.
It's a dead target.
That is a dead target.
Acorn needed to save his ultimate for later on in this fight. Obviously,
look at
hindsight is 2020. He gets so much poke down that even when he jumped in, if Acorn had his ultimate, he would have just been taunting himself into his own doom. It's been a very ineffective Galio pick in so many ways.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we saw that into the Jace and into the Black Shield.
Yeah.
It's really hard for Acorn to pull off positive plays.
Almost feels like Samson Blue is trying to force new picks to surprise Samson White. In the way, like the Varus last game we saw it here, where they wanted him to play Twitch to ban Tristana, and then get the Varus, they send Yasuo to try and just immobile AD carry, land the ultis, kill him instantly. But there was a Janna, which destroyed everything. And now you have a Galio pick against the Jace mid lane, who's just gonna destroy you.
Speaking of that Janna as well, during that replay, Hart actually went down. So now 0, 6, and 8, they're just feeding themselves that much more on the side of Samsung White. Acorn thinks he's safe to 1v1, but Dandy's always everywhere.
Nobody is safe on Samsung Blue right now at any point. When we do a replay, a player dies. When they go to check a war, a player dies. It's 18 kills in 20 minutes. It's almost the same pace that White had in Game 1. They are completely picking apart Blue in every facet of the game. This is the fastest I've probably ever seen a team play. The way Samsung White is moving around the map, the way they're finding catches. It is absolutely almost too fast to follow with everything they're doing.
Could be a soul shackles for Mata. He's getting in the right spot. Looper knows he can just put himself out the front as a tank right now. That he is. The black shield goes down. They lock down Spirit so he can't even get close with a smite. Another Baron in 2 games. This one for White again. And it looks like Deft is just doing what he can in the bottom lane, trying to soak up the resources as usual and be big for the late game.
Yeah, so we're back in the same situation. Samsung Blue just needs to try and get whatever goal they can on the map. I mean, being it give up a Baron just to get a tower in the bottom lane, you pretty much have to take the trade because you are just falling so far behind. There's, again, so many engaged options for Samsung White here just to force the fights. Rengar and Jace needs to be taken away from Samsung White next game. Yeah. But Samsung Blue is banning the Alistar every single game. You have no more bans left.
Right.
And the Zillion. And you probably don't want to give him Twitch. And they've been banning Trist. There was just a little bit too much on Samsung Blue's plate right here. And it was a red flag coming into this pick and ban versatility. But besides that, it's not like Samsung White is just picking these ridiculously strong team compositions and completely outclassing them. They're also just playing way better.
For sure. 100%. Every single skirmish we see goes in favor of Samsung White. If we ignore the early game part with their first blood for Dade and the Dragon, which even actually went over to Samsung White itself. Ever since that, every single skirmish, 2 games in a row now, heavily in favor of Samsung White.
Well, we can see Blue trying to set up just a little bit and get something in their favor, but poked out every time. They don't even have enough sweepers to clear all of these wards right now.
It's a 0 sustain team outside of a Janna ultimate into mid-game play.
Gosh.
There is no way they can stand there and take hits.
This is the perfect moment for Samsung White to group when you have Trinity Force completed on your AD carry, on your Corki, you have the Magic Pen as well, and your T is fully stacked on Jace. You can just add in a BF Sword and a Last Whisper as well, and you can just start completely destroying people from max range. And there's no way they can ever get onto you. There's no flash yet for Acorn. He needs a few more seconds before it's ready, and he will even need to have to flank around